Still inside the first half an hour of the SportsMax Zone for this Friday, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has withdrawn from Saturday's Wonder Diamond League meet in Paris, where she was to renew rivalry with compatriot and two-time double Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herah. Fraser-Pryce, the third fastest woman in history, has cited fatigue. Thompson-Herah, who is the second fastest woman in history, will now have Olympic bronze medalist Shericka Jackson as her main rival. The two will be contesting their third 100-meter race in 7 days across 2 continents and 3 different cities. Thompson-Herah said the quick turnaround is part of the job. She was speaking at Friday's pre-event press conference where she learned of Fraser-Pryce's withdrawal.
Well, I didn't know she's not here, but honestly, I'm a little bit tired. I just got some nap since I got in, but hopefully by tomorrow I can get some more energy. And then after that, I get some rest going back to Italy. So I didn't know she wasn't here. But I'm here. I'm just going to take it race by race tomorrow and see what I can get from this meet.
Okay, so we are joined now by Aleen Bailey, the Olympic sprint gold medalist, sprint relay gold medalist from the 2004 Athens Games. We enjoyed her contribution to our 2020 Olympic Games coverage. Aleen, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. Not the first that we've had you here, but these Jamaican women have taken the track and field world by storm. And the latest news now that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has withdrawn from the meet because of fatigue, she says. Do you understand her position, or are you ruining the fact that we aren't seeing the possibility of another Herah, Jackson, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce dominating?
I mean, I love the 1, 2, 3, and then everybody's trying to change the error code from 876. But running your personal best and traveling between 2 continents, it's like a lot on your body. So her needing to rest is actually a good thing, because then her body will be able to heal, reset. Because as a sprinter, when you sprint at high level, like you have small tears in your muscles, so she has to give that time to repair. And it hurts whenever you run you push your body to its limit. And some people won't. It doesn't hurt as bad for some people. Some people, your body really start aching really bad. And to avoid injury, it's best that she rests. And Elaine is tired, but she might be able to handle it a little bit better than Shelly.
Yeah, Shelly's big run in Lausanne on Thursday would have been very taxing on her. So to come back a few days after that, after running the fastest time she's ever run, would be tough on her. Did you get from
a couple of days between pre-Fontaine to be able to recover and stuff? Shelly is like a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it certainly is. We just heard Elaine Thompson-Herah responding to Shelly-Ann not being there, and a suggestion from her standpoint that she didn't know, so she is just getting that information. Do you detect any disappointment from Thompson-Herah that the rivalry between herself and Shelly-Ann doesn't happen in this Paris meet?
I mean, it's always good to have somebody push you, and that is what Shelly does for Elaine. So hopefully Shericka will figure out the start and be able to step up to the game. But then Natasha is in the race. But she's definitely tired, because, I mean, she ran her personal best all through the Olympics, and then she ran it again at Prefontaine. And her, because literally you can see in Lausanne that she was still a little tired. Her turnover wasn't as quick as it was previously, but she knows her body as well, and she probably has her team with her. But if push comes to shove, she might not. She still has the opportunity to pull out, so she really doesn't have to run. She just needed to show up. But she still has the opportunity to run up, to not run, and she can determine that based on how her body feels, like when she does a shakeout or when she wakes up the next day.
Definitely. Well, joining us now, we also have our senior writer at SportsMax.tv, Leighton Levy. Leighton, welcome. We're discussing, of course, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce saying that she won't be part of this meet, that many of us, anticipated another 1, 2, 3.
Now, well, look, the reality is that we tend to think that the athletes move from meet to meet like Star Trek. You beam them from one place to the other. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of miles that go into these athletes' years where their seasons when, like, for example, they're traveling 6,000 miles from Italy to Eugene. And then, of course, from Eugene, 5,400 miles back to Lausanne. And, of course, a train ride to Paris. It does take a toll on you eventually, in addition to the competition, because you're exerting yourself at maximum levels. You're pushing the red line at all of these meets. And in addition to the travel, it does take a toll on you. And Shelly's 34 years old. Not surprised that she decided to take this race off, given that her next race is a week away. It'll give her time to recover. Aleen is 29, Sherika is 27. They're younger. They're still tired, but maybe they're able to then still function at a higher level, given that they're 5 years younger, 5 and 7 years younger, respectively. So it's a real thing. It's a fatigue factor that weighs into the life of every athlete, especially when you're traveling internationally, where you're traveling thousands of miles on a flight. It might seem like you're not doing much, but your body's also moving at 700 miles an hour, whatever those airplanes are traveling at. It does wear on your body physically and sometimes mentally as well, because you're traveling from one time zone to the next. You have to readjust your sleep patterns. You have to readjust your eating patterns. And all of that eventually combines to become a major issue for the athletes.
So, Leighton, then, is it unreasonable to continue to expect the athletes, to give us these super fast times, meet after meet?
It's unreasonable, but public expectation is something different from what the athletes actually go through. The public doesn't take these things into consideration, but in real terms, I'm actually surprised that they're still running this fast this late in the season, given the exertions at the Olympic Games. I mean, it's only 2 Diamond League meets for either of them, but the thing is that they had meets before the Olympics. They had meets, of course, the Olympics, and of course, then traveling these large distances. So I wouldn't be surprised, for example, if Aleen comes out and runs like a 10.8 tomorrow or 10.7, something not like we've seen before the last 2 meets, 10.54 and, of course, 10.64. Because the fatigue is a factor. So I'm not necessarily expecting anything spectacular tomorrow. Not to say that it won't happen, but, it's a real situation that it might not happen tomorrow because they're fatigued. They are human. They're not machines.
Mm. And Aleen, do you expect then, with the fatigue factor, that the Paris times on Saturday may not be as fast?
Yeah, it may not be as fast because them legs, when they're tired, and your body has a way of telling you it'll tell you it's tired, but then if you don't listen, it will make sure that you listen. So her body might not go as fast as she wants it to, and then she just needs to rest and recover. But no, I don't think the times are going to be like crazy like before, because their body like literally is resetting right now. Like,
and you kind of saw
like resetting.
Yeah. I kind of saw that with Sherika yesterday, where her acceleration was not what it used to be. She actually caught Talou late in the race because the energy wasn't there. You can see the tired legs, and you've seen it in the other events as well. Athletes are running and they're pushing all their legs just won't respond. Yeah. It's a real deal. You know?
It's like a reset. Their body's about to hit restart, and once it hit restart, it's gonna start from, like, let's say the fastest Aleen run the first race she came up was like a 10.8. It's gonna reset to 10.8. To give her body time to recover.
Okay, well, here's something for you too as well. Despite running the 3rd fastest time in history and defeating Thompson Hira at Thursday's Lausanne Diamond League, Fraser-Pryce still feels she is yet to run her best race this season.
I was just being patient with my phases. It's still something that comes a little bit difficult for me. I don't have the best technique there is of a sprinter, so I have to be so deliberate in my efforts to make sure that I cement those phases, and I think tonight that made a difference.
But you dominated the race.
Huh?
You dominated the race.
Yeah, but it was a very good feel, and tonight I'm happy that I stuck to it, Every race is a race, steps, and it's a different moment, and you just have to live each moment as they come. So I'm glad I was able to still step to the line, having that vision and trusting the process. And tonight, I'm walking away with a personal best. I'm seriously excited about that.
Do you still think you can go under 1060?
Yeah, I definitely think I'll be able to do that. As I said, tonight the weather was chilly, but when you get to the line and the starter says on your mark, you totally forget about the weather. So I'm hoping that as the season goes, I'll be able to put together more solid races.
Yeah, and Aleen, as a former top sprinter yourself, can you talk us through what Shelly-Ann just mentioned about her technique not being the best, so she has to make sure that other phases of her execution are on point?
Because it's like sometimes she gets the start right, and then the last 10, if you can see, like she loses her form. So if she can get this, and then sometimes it works for her. She gets everything together, but or the last half is good, but the first half is a little shaky. So what she's saying is that if she can get her Shelly start and let's say Elaine's last 50, and put that together, she definitely will go below 10.6.
So that the viewers can visualize some of what you're saying, Aleen, can you identify some of the sprinters that you may have raced against, or the ones you're seeing now who have this good technique?
Perfect.
This perfect technique that Shelly-Ann is saying she doesn't have, because I wouldn't like to see if she had it.
Let's see. Oh God. Let's see who I can figure out. I think the final of the Olympic, Elaine's like that entire race that Elaine had. Like she got out correctly. She held her drive. She didn't pop up. Like she maintained her height and everything. Her hips everything was on top of each other, and she maintained form, and she ran through the line, relaxed and just perfect. So that's what Shelly is trying to replicate, just to have that perfect start whenever somebody comes, and then when somebody comes up, you're able to shift gears and not lose form and still maintain. It's just staying on top, like everything staying on top. Your center of mass staying on top, because sometimes Shelly's center of mass will fall. So sometimes you see her fall forward, or so whenever she stays upright and sprint all the way through the line. That's what she's trying to get, to stay upright and sprint all the way through the line with her Shelly start.
Yeah. So, Leighton, do you think maybe Shelly's height, she's a very short athlete, makes it more difficult for her technically to execute, all of the phases that Aleen just spoke of?
No, not really. I mean, if you go back to before the Bolt era, you remember you had people like Houston McTeer, Andre Kaysen. These guys are really quick over the 100 meters. The thing is, what Shelly, I think, is mentioning is, for example, there's several phases to the 100-meter race. And there are times, like we saw in the Olympic finals, where, notwithstanding the missed third step that Shelly had, she popped up too quickly out of that drive phase. Then that reduces your momentum going to the transition into the acceleration phase, because you don't have that forward momentum going forward. What I think she's mentioning is the fact that you have to run your own race. You don't pay attention to what's happening around you. So you focus on your drive phase, for example. It used to be called the first 7 steps. And then you gradually come up as if, you're easing into an upright position, and then you're accelerating towards your maximum speed at about 55 to 60, and then relaxing your shoulders, driving your arms hard, and keeping your knees up towards the line. That helps to maintain your speed for as long as possible. Usain Bolt did that very well, notwithstanding his faulty start. Asafa Powell is probably the more perfect sprinter, if you can look at that, or a Maurice Green, who had that mechanics. Shelly is similar in that regard. The thing is that what she's talking about is that there are times when she breaks that phase early, and it costs her in terms of fractions of a second. So if she's able to maintain the patience like that we saw yesterday in the first 2 phases of her race, 2 main phases of her race, the drive phase and, of course, the acceleration. The last third, she tightened up a little bit. Her shoulders got tight, and she started to lean forward and rotated her hips backward. If she's able to execute the way she did at the 10.63 that she ran at the National Stadium, where you saw her maintain the patience right through all those phases, she'll run a lot faster. And I think that's what she's referring to. Because I don't think the height has much to do with it, because It's more to do with your cadence and the speed at which you turn your legs, as opposed to, you know, those athletes who might be taller but turn a lot more slowly.
Yeah. Aleen, we just heard Shelly-Ann speaking to the reporter and saying that she thinks she can go sub 1060 for sure. Do you think she has it in her legs with the break that she's taking now to produce that before the season ends?
Definitely. Rest is the most amazing thing God ever created. So once her body get the rest, she refuel, get enough protein in to help repair the muscles, do her physical therapy, massage, ice bath, even though we hate it. Just a lot of recovery type stuff. Just stay off her legs and just refocus. She's capable of doing that, and she stayed. Hey, she's remembering what she did when she ran the 10-6 in Jamaica. So her body is remembering that, and she's staying patient, because sometimes, like, even though we're like the best at what it is that we do, sometimes we tend to, like, if we have one misstep, we tend to panic and just pop up and try and run in. And she stayed patient this weekend, and it paid off. So all she has to do, patience is the name of the game. Even if you have a misstep, just stay patient.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Aleen Bailey, 2004 sprint relay gold medalist in Athens, and Leighton Levy, a former outstanding runner in his late teens and early 20s. That's why he speaks with so much authority about what
he knows what he's talking about.
It's outstanding.
All right, Leighton and Aleen, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great having them on. Of course, Aleen Bailey, the sister of dancehall superstar Capleton, and happy to have her on the SportsMax Zone. A lot of football still to come on the SportsMax Zone, including La Liga and Jamaica Premier League updates. On Cristiano Ronaldo's move from Juventus to Manchester United.